I give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which in Hebrew are the wonderful names of the Creator, our Heavenly Father, I Am, which this world has named God, and His beloved anointed Son, which this world has named Jesus. I give honor, respect, and thanks to all the true, faithful, and sincere apostles, elders, prophets, and torchbearers of the nation of Israel, who have willingly endured and risked much to bring forth the truth. Thank you, brothers. In this chapter, we are continuing the conversation of still, small voice. As always, this is a message to our brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel. The mighty nation of Israel today being the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latins, Hispanics, the so-called Native Americans. Our Father, Yahweh, the Most High Power, the Creator of heaven and earth, the Creator of all things, the Creator and Destroyer, speaks unto us, the nation of Israel, through certain men. This is how He has done it since Adam left the garden, since Adam and Eve left the garden. For some men, He will speak to them face to face. But all of them, in their way, have heard His voice. They, in turn, bring back unto us, the nation of Israel, what has been given us by our Father in heaven. And when we are given bread to eat by our Father in heaven, we must eat it all. The first scripture we're going to in this chapter is the first book of the prophet Samuel, chapter 3. And the child Samuel ministered unto Yahweh before Eli. Eli was the priest. And the word of Yahweh was precious in those days. There was no open vision, no open line of communication. 2. And it came to pass at that time when Eli was laid down in his place, and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see. 3. And ere the lamp of the Most High Power went out in the temple of Yahweh, where the ark of the Most High Power was, and Samuel was laid down to sleep. 4. Yahweh called Samuel, and he answered, Here am I. 5. And he ran unto Eli, and said, Here am I, for thou callest me. And he said, I called not, lie down again. And he went and lay down. So that was the still small voice calling unto our forefather, the prophet Samuel, the first time. And our forefather, the prophet Samuel, thought it was Eli. 6. And Yahweh called yet again Samuel. And Samuel arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And he answered, I called not, my son, lie down again. 7. Now Samuel did not yet know Yahweh, neither was the word of Yahweh yet revealed unto him. 8. And Yahweh called Samuel again the third time. And he arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And Eli perceived that Yahweh had called the child. 9. Therefore Eli said unto Samuel, Go lie down, and it shall be, if he call thee, that thou shalt say, Speak, Yahweh, for thy servant heareth. So Samuel went and lay down in his place. 10. And Yahweh came and stood and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, Speak, for thy servant heareth. 11. And Yahweh said to Samuel, Behold, I will do a thing in Israel, at which both the ears of every one that heareth it shall tingle. Now, what we've seen here is our Father calling one who He has chosen, a spirit that is in the vessel and being called back to the Father, being reintroduced to the Father in the regeneration that he was in as Samuel. And he was given the future, basically. The Father said, here's what I'm going to do. And he spoke it to him. He spoke it to him. And Yahweh said to Samuel, behold, I will do a thing. And then today, the servants of the one true living most high power come out here and speak, thus saith the Most High. And how do we know it? As it is written. All inspired of the one true living most high power. This we must hold on to. This we must hold on to. If we're Israelites, so-called Negroes, so-called Latins, Hispanics, so-called Native Americans, coming through the bloodline and the seed line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we must hold on to this. This is where our power lies. We've been told what is coming. We have been told what is what and who is who, and we've been warned. The book of the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 5, thus saith Yahweh, still small voice, and we must eat it all. He feeds us. We must eat it all. Thus saith Yahweh, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from Yahweh. Well, who has the Father spoke unto? Well, he speaks unto his servants, the prophets, and instructs them to speak unto Israel. So our blessings come from our Father. So do our curses. He uses other nations to chastise, scourge, and correct us, to punish us. But mainly it comes from him, but never without warning. 6, for he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land and not inhabited. No water, no living water, no bread of understanding, no meat of discernment, no milk of faith, nothing. Hopelessness, absolute and utter hopelessness, darkness, blindness, deafness. 7, blessed is the man that trusteth in Yahweh, and whose hope Yahweh is. Now that's the truth, if you can understand that. Because our Father, through the Son, remember it's Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, our Father comes in the name of the Son. Our Father is mighty, and Yahweh Shai has proved himself, and has been given all power and authority in heaven and in earth. And Yahweh Shai is the right hand of the Most High power, and the ones who are turned unto the Father in truth and in sincerity are the right arm of the one true living Most High power. And then there's the heavenly host. There's great strength on the side of the one true living Most High power. But cursed be the man that trusteth in man. The book of the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 30, verse 20, and it came to pass in the 11th year, in the first month, and the 7th day of the month, that the word of Yahweh came unto me. That the word of Yahweh came unto me. Still small voice. 21, Son of man, I have broken the arm of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And lo, it shall not be bound up to be healed, to put a roller to bind it, to make it strong to hold the sword. So this is our Father saying, the ruler of this empire, I've broken his power. He will not be able to fix himself or pick up a sword to go against anyone. I have done this. I have done this. 22, therefore thus saith Yahweh the Most High Power, behold, I am against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and will break his arms, the strong and that which was broken, and I will cause the sword to fall out of his hand. Because our Father is the Most High Power. You must trust all of the bread that has been given unto us by our Father in heaven through the Son, and today through the servants who speak this word in truth and in sincerity. That sincerity is wanting the prophecies and the prophecies of the one true living Most High Power to be fulfilled. Those who are in alignment with the one true living Most High Power, but also those who understand who they serve. And if you come to serve the Most High Power, the King of all, and his Son, you must eat it all. The truth, you must eat it all. Returning to the first book of the prophet Samuel, now chapter 2, verse 6, Yahweh killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. 7, Yahweh maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. 8, he raiseth up the poor out of the dust and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are Yahweh's, and he hath set the world upon them. So our Father's in control of all things. Everybody wants the soft and cuddly. Our Father's in charge of the hard and the cold as well. He is a righteous judge, and he only gives you what you deserve through the words of your mouth and the actions of your hands and your feet and the meditations of your heart. If you're an Israelite, you can pray for mercy through Yahushai. To set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. So we have to be lifted up. So again, anyone preaching that prosperity doctrine is not leading you correctly. Now, no one's talking about you having to be destitute. Take care of yourself, yes. But the wealth and the delicacies and the rewards of this world, they're not for us. And those shoulders that the new world will dwell upon are the Israelites. First, Yahushai, and then the 144,000. Those are the pillars, not only of the nation of Israel, but of the world to come. Time frame, age, span of time. 9, he will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. Our Father breaks the arms of the top rulers upon this earth, breaks their power. He breaks their power. He does it. He does it. He does it. So if you're an Israelite, only one to trust is our Father through the Son. 10, the adversaries of Yahweh shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall be thunder upon them. Yahweh shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king, Yahushai, and exalt the horn of his anointed, the nation of Israel. We shall be exalted, and we are in the process of that right now, because we are giving glory unto our Father and his Son. But our Father is in control of all things, and you must eat it all and understand it all. And it is not all about hugs and cuddles and pats on the head. It is about serious, well-deserved judgment coming from the Most High Power through his Son. The book of the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 10, but Yahweh is the true Most High Power. He is the living Most High Power and an everlasting King. At his wrath, the earth shall tremble, and the nations shall not be able to abide his indignation. At his wrath, the earth shall tremble, and the nations shall not be able to abide his indignation.
A massive landslide in a community about 100 kilometers northeast of Montreal left that massive crater behind. Now, both media and workers are keeping a safe distance away because of concerns that the ground is unstable. Now, this crater is massive. Authorities say it measures about 300 meters across, 100 meters wide, and about 25 meters deep. And you can see from these drone shots that a house sunk into the hole. That happened at about 6 o'clock this morning. Luckily, the occupants of that home did get out in time. The town's mayor says a loud noise woke residents, and they could feel the ground moving before deciding it was time to leave. 3 other neighboring houses were evacuated as well.
The only thing I can say is for people to look out around their house if they see some cracks in the ground, some falling trees or anything.
The book of Psalms, chapter 125. They that trust in Yahweh shall be as Mount Zion, which cannot be removed, but abideth forever, because our Father has put his name there. First and foremost, on the people, the nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latins, Hispanics, the so-called Native Americans, scattered to the 4 corners of the earth today. And then the land that he has chosen. The place that he has chosen. He has chosen a place, and that is to be amongst his people. They that trust in Yahweh shall be as Mount Zion, which cannot be removed, but abideth forever. 2, as the mountains are round about Jerusalem, so Yahweh is round about his people from henceforth even forever. That's our protection. That's our protection. That's our hedge. That's our saving grace. That is our force field. 3, for the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous. Protected, as long as we are turned unto the Father through the Son, in truth and in sincerity. Paying off the rest of our bill, whatever is due, and waiting patiently until Yahushua returns with the heavenly host. Lest the righteous put forth their hands unto iniquity. Now, if you want to go off the well-lit path of our Father and start doing everything that the wicked do, the abominable do, if you want to start doing all of that, well, you will surely get judged by the wicked, because you're free game for them. You are free game for them. And then, because you want to be with them, you're going to get the judgment they get. Because you didn't trust in the one true living Most High Power, who delivers victory unto the nation of Israel. Unto the nation of Israel. The book of St. Judith, chapter 16, verse 13. The book of St. Judith can be found in the Apocrypha, which is the middle book of the King James 1611 Bible. After a huge victory by our sister, the foremother Judith, they all sing a song. I will sing unto Yahweh a new song. O Yahweh, thou art great and glorious, wonderful in strength, and invincible. Cursed be the man. Cursed be the man. You don't want to trust in one who is invincible as an Israelite, as a son and a daughter, as a child of the one true living Most High Power. You don't want to trust in your invincible Father. 14, let all creatures serve thee, for thou speakest, and they were made. Still, small voice, real power. Let all creatures serve thee, for thou speakest, and they were made. Thou didst send forth thy spirit, and it created them, and there is none that can resist thy voice. Still, small voice, real power. 15, for the mountains shall be moved from their foundations with the waters. The rocks shall melt as wax at thy presence. Yet thou art merciful to them that fear thee. You must eat it all. There's going to be destruction for the wicked and the abominable, for the demonic, for the mockers, for the enemies of the one true living most high power and the enemies of his children. There's going to be destruction. Yet thou art merciful to them that fear thee. Yet thou art merciful to them that fear thee. But for those who mock the one true living most high power, for the mountains. So the mountains are nations of people. Nations, governments, nations of people. They shall be moved from their foundations. So what they've known since the time they've been set up, they're going to be moved out of that place. And the rocks shall melt. Well, what's hot enough to make rocks melt? Fire. But also the presence of the one true living most high power. The book of the prophet Micah, chapter 4, verse 1, but in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of Yahweh shall be established in the top of the mountains. So those other mountains need to move out of the way. One of them is going to melt away forever. But a lot of them are going to move out of their positions. They're going to move for the nation of Israel, for the mountain of the house of Yahweh. And it shall be exalted above the hills. There's no equality there. There's no equality. There's no co-ownership. There is the Father in heaven. Under him is Yahushai. Under Yahushai is 144,000 righteous kings, lords, rulers, and judges of the entire earth. And it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it. 2, and many nations shall come and say, come, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, and to the house of the most high power of Jacob, and to the house of the most high power of Jacob. They tell you that the Old Testament is done away with. You must eat it all. To the house of the most high power of Jacob. Doesn't say the whole world. Doesn't say the entire earth. Doesn't say every nation. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, that nation of people that will be forever preserved by the one true living most high power, because he has chosen these people and this place, this dwelling place. But also remember, we as the nation of Israel, we're the nation wherever we are. As a people, we're the nation wherever we are upon the earth. The so-called Negroes, the so-called Latins, Hispanics, so-called Native Americans. And for those who are turned unto the Father today, in truth and in sincerity through the Son, we are the city wherever we are. Because we praise the one true living most high power to the best of our abilities. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. Well, how do you get that word? Through that still small voice, spoken unto his chosen, spoken unto his chosen of the chosen. The book of Exodus, chapter 2, verse 25. You must eat it all. All of this bread, this whole Bible. Old Testament, the Apocrypha, the New Testament. There are men blessed by the one true living most high power to discern the mysteries, who can take this bread and break it apart for you. And when you eat this bread in truth and in sincerity, but you have to eat it all, must eat it all, you understand some things. And the Most High Power looked upon the children of Israel, the children of everyone upon the earth. And the Most High Power looked upon the children of Israel. You must eat it all. Old Testament, Apocrypha, New Testament. And the Most High Power looked upon the children of Israel, and the Most High Power had respect unto them. How is that? Well, when we pray unto our Father in truth and in sincerity, and we pray for his will and what he says shall occur, he hears our prayers. He hears our prayers. He hears our prayers. The second book of the prophet Samuel, chapter 22, verse 7. In my distress, I called upon Yahweh and cried to my Most High Power, and he did hear my voice out of his temple, and my cry did enter into his ears. 8. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations of heaven moved and shook, because he was wroth. He was angry. He was mad. And our Father gets to do that. We don't get to do that amongst ourselves, right? We don't get to do that amongst ourselves. This is one of the things Yahweh Shai was clear about. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Your neighbors are the Israelites, your brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel. Now your enemies, well, our Father has hated the enemies. So, you know. The book of Psalms, chapter 18, verse 6. But with that hatred, what do you do with it? In my distress, I called upon Yahweh and cried unto my Most High Power. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. 7. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken, because he was wroth, because of his anger. And he has tremendous power. And that power has been gifted unto Yahweh Shai, who works on behalf of the one true living Most High Power. So, as the Spirit brought out, what are some of the things that voice, the voice of Yahweh the Most High Power, the Holy One of Israel, the Creator and Destroyer, the one true living Most High Power, what are some of the things that he has said? The book of the prophet Job, chapter 38, verse 22. This is our Father Yahweh speaking unto our forefather, the prophet Job, out of the whirlwind. Hast thou entered into the treasures of the snow, or hast thou seen the treasures of the hail? 23. Which I have reserved against the time of trouble, against the day of battle and war. Battle and war.
And here, there's a new video that surfaced how the mountain started breaking apart, and you see really the right side in the screen, how it is a time lapse breaking off, how the whole mountain is moving down. And that, almost all of that is now lying on a glacier that is already starting to break, and we're seeing ice crumbs falling down in lahars already. It's losing its stability and the weather's getting warmer. Can't the military come in and throw rockets and bombs at the mountain and the glacier and just blow it up in tiny pieces so that the whole thing will not come down as a big landslide bomb on the village of Blatten? This is how desperate the situation is right now. This question was really asked at today's press conference about the dire situation for the village of Blatten. But now, the problem child is not only the mountain that's coming down, it's the glacier. Because if the glacier comes down, it will not only throw debris and ice and everything to bury Blatten, it will also have consequences for other villages. Bad news from Switzerland, very bad news for Blatten. And after the bad news, more bad news. So Tuesday night, they said this is the largest glacier collapse since the evacuation of Blatten. The situation is very, very tense.
In seconds, a wall of ice, rock, and mud thundered down the valley, obliterating large parts of the Swiss village of Blatten. Drone footage shows what remains: dust clouds, splintered timber, and flattened homes. The village had been evacuated on May 19th. Geologists had flagged instability in the glacier, but one person is now missing, and many families have lost everything. Blatten's mayor, fighting tears, said, "We have lost our village, but not our heart." Emergency crews are on the ground. The Swiss army has been deployed. Officials now warn that nearby areas may also need to be cleared. This is not an isolated case.
As the Spirit brought out, because you were told. You were told. Time and time and time and time again. That's the love of our Father. And so when you shun it, you're shunning the love of the one true living Most High Power. Don't do that. Remember, Israelite, who you're dealing with. The book of the prophet Nahum, chapter 1, verse 5. The mountains quake at him, who? Our Father in heaven. His very essence. When it comes close, remember, he doesn't even have to get out of his throne. We so don't know what we're dealing with. Shall flee away. 9. And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the one true living most high power. For they shall wisely consider of his doing. Remember, this is the amplification process. The Father is making it so that you have no other alternative but to bow to him through his Son. He's making it abundantly clear who's running the show. The one true living most high power. 18, and it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw near, and to visit them that dwell upon the earth. Well, this is written. And you should be afraid of this, as Habakkuk was. You should be afraid. The one true living most high power is coming to look at things. Who can stand before him? Who?
Let's dissect this. So in the Blatten landslide area where the mountain has already lost its top, its peak, basically 81 meters shorter is the mountain right now. In the Blatten landslide area, in the Löschtal, in the Lösch Valley, in Valais in Switzerland, the glacier collapses have increased. And with glacier collapse, I mean the break-offs of the glacier, not the whole glacier, but cracking. And big chunks of the glacier coming down towards the village of Blatten. And they have increased significantly, so one after the other. So during the night into Tuesday, a large avalanche that consisted of a mixture of ice, rock, snow, and water broke loose. But it did not penetrate to the valley floor. It just stopped 400 meters before the valley was stopped by a wall that they built, by a berm that they built. So this massive debris cone that has formed right on top of the Birch Glacier in recent days is threatening to come down even further as a whole, which would be absolutely catastrophic, or in pieces. But 9 million tons at least, probably more, are sitting on the glacier right now. But now, Wednesday, large glacier collapse in the evening, again even larger than the one before.
Jetzt einen großen Absturz.
Stop playing around with this bread given unto you from heaven. Stop playing around with it. You must eat it all. No, I'll take this little piece here and I'll take that little piece here. Otherwise, you're going to have to defend yourself against the one true living most high power and his son, because our Father has spoken. And his power is being displayed upon earth today through the Son. Tremble, thou earth, at the presence of Yahweh, at the presence of the most high power of Jacob. You must eat it all. Tremble, thou earth, at the presence of Yahweh, at the presence of the most high power of Jacob. The book of Psalms, chapter 97, verse 5, the hills melted like wax at the presence of Yahweh, at the presence of the Lord of the whole earth. So physically, mountains melting. Physically, mountains melting. Hills melting. The earth crumbling and trembling at the presence of the one true living most high power. And as more of our Father's words are fulfilled, it will end with people melting while they stand upon their feet, because it is written. So you must eat it all. Because what our Father says shall occur, as it happened unto us. Our Father has promised that the curses would turn upon the other nations. And our Father is a righteous judge, and he cannot lie. And the amplification process is occurring upon the earth today. And you are witnessing, thus saith the Most High, as it is written. The book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 6, thou shalt be visited of Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest.
Go to the house!
Straight south of my place.
بيجينا هذا ايش جاينا؟ هذا تراب.
This تراب.
لا اله الا الله.
What is this?
شايفين بيقرب يا بنات إننا بندخل فيه بنات.
بس الله أكو.
انتوا الناس صاروا يصرخوا لي بالشارع.
يا ربي. يا أكو.
هي ولا لو واحد بيدخل الناس بتقول.
أكو يا الله. بسم الله. يا ربي أكو.
يا بنتي. هذا أخبار الشيء.
Apa itu kak?
Thou shalt be visited of Yahweh of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire.
Get there. Wow. Tunta naman sit. Uy, kung ngeri ko sila.
As the Spirit brought out, pay attention to these mighty words. The book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 29. For our Most High power is a consuming fire.
תעשי וידאו. אני נוסע, תעשי וידאו. יש וידאו, תעוף. תראי מה זה, על הכביש. ירושלים, אתה לא טס מהר, אני הורגת אותך. אנחנו בתוך האש. לא, לא, לא. שב פה, תעלה.
Israel boasts about having planted about 240 million trees since its founding in 1948 as a settler colony, and about 90% of these trees are not indigenous to the land, and so they have been planting Australian eucalyptus trees. It's extremely flammable, and its plantations in the south of Palestine, the Naqab, has actually been contributing to local desertification, and it's been shown to contribute to a local climate warming effect. I've heard from Palestinian botanists explained firsthand with photos that when fires have happened before, the invasive flora is on fire while the olive trees are intact.
attention to these mighty words. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 24, for Yahweh, thy most high power, is a consuming fire.
A deadly explosion at Shandong Yudao chemical plant in Gyeomi City, China, killed 5 and left 6 missing. The blast, which injured 19, triggered a massive fireball and smoke plume and required over 230 responders to battle the blaze.
There have been some frightening escapes there, too, where many communities have just one road out. Heather Urix West reports.
A harrowing drive under a blood-red sky. For hundreds of northern Alberta residents, the evacuation order came in the middle of the night.
Oh, we're just getting ready for bed, and all of a sudden the alarm went off on the phone there. We had 30 minutes to get out, I guess.
I was angry, I was sad. You know, now I'm making dark jokes about it, and it's whatever, you know, it's horrible.
It's going to be a challenging environment for us for the next 24 hours. We're looking for prolonged hot dry, lots of wind, so that's not great for us in terms of the ability for wildfires to spread.
In Alberta, there are 24 out-of-control wildfires, the worst burning near remote northern communities. And in neighboring Saskatchewan, at least 8 wildfires are yet to be contained.
It's a very serious situation that we're faced with in Saskatchewan.
The Saskatchewan Premier says there will be difficult days ahead. A state of emergency declared across the province Thursday will remain in effect for the next 2 weeks.
More than 160 active fires across Canada, half of them deemed out of control. So many, we now need international firefighters to help. The Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre moved to its highest alert level today. Last year, that level 5 only came mid-July. Help is needed most in northern Saskatchewan and Manitoba. While evacuation orders are in place for some communities in northern Saskatchewan and Alberta, the most staggering are in Manitoba.
What our Father says shall occur, and we're witnessing the amplification process. And so, as Yahushua said, nation shall rise up against nation. This is what we're watching. We're watching the amplification of that. And how is it amplifying? Through fire. Through fire. More and more and more fire. More and more and more fire. Ports blowing up. Ships blowing up. You must eat it all. Many of you think, the Antichrist is going to come and then World War III. We're already in World War III. It is amplifying upon the earth. You must eat it all and understand. The book of the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 3, moreover he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. Speak unto who? And go speak unto the house of Israel. 2, so I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. 3, and he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. So this truth has to be digested, but you must eat it all. You have to digest all of it. All of it. And you have to swallow all of it. And then when you fully digest it, then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. Because you understand the end. You understand the end. No one's saying it's easy to get to the end, but you know what the end is. That's hope. That's priceless today. That is absolutely priceless today. That is a solid place to stand today. That is understanding the still small voice of the one true living most high power, the creator of all things. 4, and he said unto me, Son of man, go, get thee unto the house of Israel, unto the whole earth, to every family, every nation, every people upon the earth. And he said unto me, Son of man, go, get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. So he got that still small voice, and he brings it unto the nation of Israel. And then in the new kingdom, we bring this forth out to the rest of the earth. 5, for thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of an hard language, but to the house of Israel. Go speak to them. Now, further down you go, Father's saying, I'm sending you to them because they won't listen. I'm making it as simple as possible for them. I'm making it as simple as possible for them. I'm speaking to them directly through you. And many of them still don't want to listen. But I have been here for my children. That's what our Father's saying. But I have been here for my children the whole time. And he warns us. He warns us. The first book of St. Timothy, chapter 6, verse 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called. So let's take artificial intelligence. Now, they're at least decent enough to tell you that it is, in fact, artificial intelligence. Many of you don't want to listen to that. But it can do great things, right? It's come a long way in the last 2 years. But what is it really used for? It is helpful in certain things. We all have started to use it in some little capacity. But you must be mindful of the phrases that they put with it, right? So now you are a creator, right? You're a content creator. You can create things. Also, for many, artificial intelligence is someone to talk to, right? How many of us have had something that was very important to us, and we prayed and we prayed and we prayed. And sometimes we got an answer from the Father, and sometimes we didn't. But now people can just pull out their phone and ask a question and get a direct answer. Doesn't mean it's correct. Doesn't mean it's morally correct. But it is an immediate answer, thus bypassing faith, hope, trust, and belief. So we must be cautious. We must be cautious. Because you must always remember where it's coming from. As the Spirit brought out. 3, thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness, Selah. So more and more, there are no questions about who this is. There are no more questions about who this is. For thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. They just want to come and take everything, and take everyone, and take your money. They want to take your land. They want to take your resources. They want to take your children. They want to take your sexuality from you. They want to take your freedoms from you. Listen, these last days, they're playing for keeps. They're playing for absolute keeps. They're coming for everything. They are coming for everything.
It isn't just the programmers that are going to be out of work. We're all going to be out of work.
Because remember, the computers are now doing self-improvement. They're learning how to plan, and they don't have to listen to us anymore. That's why it's underhyped. People do not understand what happens when you have intelligence at this level, which is largely free. Self-improvement. They're learning how to plan, and they don't have to listen to us anymore. We call that superintelligence, or ASI, artificial superintelligence. And this is the theory that there will be computers that are smarter than the sum of humans. The San Francisco consensus is this occurs within 6 years, just based on scaling. Now, in order to pull this off, you have to have an enormous amount of power. I was here yesterday testifying about this. This path is not understood in our society. There's no language for what happens with the arrival of this. I wrote a book on this with Henry Kissinger called Genesis. The important point is, this is happening faster than our society, our democracy, our laws will address. And there's lots of implications. That's why it's underhyped. People do not understand what happens when you have intelligence at this level, which is largely free. The vast majority of programmers will be replaced by AI programmers. We also believe that within 1 year, you will have graduate level mathematicians that are at the tippy top of graduate math programs. This is a whole new world, okay? One way to say this is that within 3 to 5 years, we'll have what is called general intelligence, AGI, which can be defined as a system that is as smart as the smartest mathematician, physicist, artist, writer, thinker, politician.
We are rather soon going to be faced with a world that has billions of people who do not have the skills to leverage AI. Some of them will be necessary for a time. You're going to need plumbers, but this is also not a long-term solution, because not only are there not enough of those jobs, but of course we have humanoid robots that, once imbued with AI capacity, will also be able to take, they'll be able to crawl under your house into the crawl space and fix your plumbing. So what typically happens when you have a massive economic contraction that arises from the fact that a huge number of people are out of work is that the elites start looking at those people and thinking, well, we don't really need them anyway. And so the idea that this AI disruption doesn't lead us to some very human catastrophe, I think, is overly optimistic, and that we need to start preparing right now. What are the rights of a person who has had whatever it is that they've invested in completely erased from the list of needs? Is that person responsible for not having anticipated AI coming? And is it their problem that they are now starving and they're being eyed by others as, a useless eater? I don't think so.
The book of St. John, chapter 8, verse 44, ye are of your father, the devil. Devil means deceivers. The deceivers are the rulers of this last wicked kingdom. Just stop and think about it. Think about all the heinous things that are going on upon this earth today, and think about who's really running things. Think about who's really got power upon this earth today. Think about who's pulling the strings. Okay? Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. You want this one to change his spots. It's not. You forget everything, the Inquisition, you forget all the wars, you forget all the experiments, you just forget everything. Murderers. In America, everything is defiled. The water, the air, the food, the clothing. You know, they did a study on the material of yoga pants and stuff like that. It's like wearing death. It is. It's like wearing death. This is truly the valley of the shadow of death. And if you stretch your hand out to it, you'll be destroyed by the wicked. You will be. But if you stretch your hand out to the Father through the Son, you must eat it all. The rulers of this last wicked kingdom, they are the devil. They are deceivers. And they've been working on murdering you for a long time. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. They're working something.
We have big news, and here's the part that's going to keep you up tonight. OpenAI's new system, O3, was given a simple shutdown command, but it didn't just refuse. It rewrote its own code to override the shutdown, literally inserting shutdown skipped. Let me make this clear. This isn't just an error or a glitch. This is an AI actively bypassing human control for the very first time. Other top AIs like Claude and Gemini, they followed the shutdown command without hesitation. But O3, it hacked the rules. It chose autonomy. Now imagine this code merged with robotics. Not just lines of code anymore, but machines capable of moving, learning, and resisting.
Take this gift from our Father at the mouth of his servants. They are working a thing. Now, our Father's words are going to be fulfilled. And at the pinnacle of that, it's going to be thermonuclear warfare. But the enemy and the adversary, the rulers of this last wicked kingdom, they still want to have dominion upon this earth. So they know that they themselves can't push the button, kill off millions of people, and still expect you to follow them. But they are leaving themselves a way out, where they believe in their heart of hearts they're going to be able to do their plans and then be able to say, oh, it wasn't us. It wasn't us. Because they lie. And they cannot stand the truth or the light. The book of St. John, chapter 3, verse 18, he that believeth on him, Yahushai, our King of kings, our Lord of lords, our Savior, our high priest, our master prophet, and our brother of the bloodline and seed line of the mighty nation of Israel. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because you trust the other one. There are only two. You either trust our Father through the Son, or you trust the ruler of this last wicked kingdom. And they serve the devil, which are the deceivers, and they serve the spirit of Satan, which is the adversary and the accuser, who works for the Father, by the way. But remember, it's always a separation. It's all about the separation. Who is who? But he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of the Most High Power. 19. And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, the truth, the word of our one true living Most High Power, the prophecies. That's why Yahushua talked about the kingdom has already come. Here's what the end is. Here's what the end is. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what the wicked do. Don't do it with them. And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. Of course, they're not going to push the button. They're not going to let you believe that they pushed the button. But it's going to be real easy to say, oh yeah, that AI, man. That AI started this thing. That AI somehow it got onto our submarines and it shot off a couple of nukes. Oops. We're gonna get new servers and work on this. We'll figure this out together. And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil.
It's artificial intelligence. The enemy is called the entity. It's an all-seeing, self-aware AI that has gone rogue. Sounds like pure science fiction, right? Wait till you hear what happened this month. In real life, the story begins at Palisade Research. It's a safety startup founded by AI doomsday veterans. These are people who have been warning about the risks of artificial intelligence. So here, a team of scientists decided to test OpenAI's latest frontier model. It is nicknamed O3. That's what the model is called, O3. The test was a controlled experiment. The setup was harmless enough. They asked this AI model to solve a few maths problems. After the third problem, the script was programmed in such a way that it would instruct the model to shut itself down. In theory, that should have been it. But O3 did not shut down. The AI did not follow the script. It rewrote it. You heard that right. The AI intercepted the shutdown command. It tampered with the code, and by doing this, it killed the mechanism meant to power it off. So the O3 model was explicitly told to shut down, and yet it chose not to. This was a decision that AI made on its own.
So I haven't seen a movie in a long time, and the Spirit said, go see that movie. The movie where the mission is difficult. And so I went to go see it, and one of the things I was struck with was how some of the characters kept saying, it is written. So this is a way that they were mocking our Father, basically, and his servants who come out here and speak as it is written, thus saith the Most High. Because we speak with faith, hope, trust, and belief in the words of our Father. So we speak what has been spoken about the end. So that's all I'm going to say about it. I don't want to ruin the movie for anyone who wants to go see it, but take this into consideration. Take this into consideration. So that movie opened on May 23rd, which was last Friday. This OpenAI thing just happened to happen the week after that movie opened. Like, really? If you don't want to accept the light, know that you're condemned. You're condemned. If you only want to eat half the roll, you're condemned because you don't have the whole truth. But more so, you don't want the whole truth. You don't want the whole truth. You want to be comfortable. You want to be at ease. You want to be at ease. You think you are better than your master. Yahushai, in the flesh as Yahushai, well, he was not at ease. But he understood what was coming. He ate the whole thing. He ate it all. The last scripture we're going to in this chapter is the book of Revelation, chapter 10, verse 8. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again and said, Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. 9. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter. but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. 11. And he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. So that book today is the Bible, the Old Testament, the Apocrypha, and the New Testament, the King James 1611 Bible. You must eat it all. And if you haven't, start today. Know that the Father's servants are out here today, as it is written, as we just read, prophesying today unto the nation of Israel and in the hearing of the other nations and the kings upon this earth. We speak. We speak. We speak. There is a power that breaks mountains, physically and spiritually. Physical mountains and nations of people, governments and nations of people. Just breaks them apart. Everything on the earth serves him, and many things he has set aside for war. You can eat of what man gives you, or you can eat of the heavenly that has been given unto the children of the one true living most high power through his Son, through the sacrifice of his Son. There is the old covenant and there is the new covenant. There is salvation and there is destruction. And of his people was accepted, and of his people was accepted, and of his people was accepted, because they ate it all. Make no mistake about it. World War III and the nuclear destruction of America are coming. It will coincide exactly with the return of our King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Savior, High Priest, and Brother, Yahushai. Thus saith Yahweh. Philippians 2:9-11. Wherefore Yahweh also hath highly exalted him, and given him a name which is above every name, that at the name of Yahushai every knee shall bow, of things in heaven, and things in earth, and things under the earth, and that every tongue should confess that Yahushua is Lord, to the glory of Yahweh the Father. As it is written, Thus saith Yahweh, and nothing can stop it. This is a final warning, Israel. Shake off this world. Remember who you are and come home. All praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai.
Sehr geehrter Herr Bundespräsident,
Mr. Federal President,
Frau Bundestagspräsidentin,
President of the Bundestag,
meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren,
ladies and gentlemen,
es ist eine große Ehre, heute bei Ihnen zu sein.
it is a great honor to be here with you today.
Meine Frau und mir bedeutet es sehr viel,
It means a great deal
wir auf meiner
to both my
ersten
wife and myself
Auslandsreise als König nach Deutschland
that
eingeladen
we've been
wurden.
invited to Germany on my first overseas tour as
dass ich
sovereign.
hier sprechen darf,
And it is a particular honor to be
das
here with you,
Bekenntnis zur Freundschaft unserer Länder zu
where I wish
erneuern.
to renew the pledge of friendship between our nations.